Hey guys, it's Noah from Ask4Noah Property Solutions. I'm here with Michael from the Michael Order team, Remax Cornerstone, and today we have Sadie.
Hi, I'm Sadie, owner and creator of Sweet Sadies Custom Cakes here in Lebanon. And I've been a Lebanon townie my whole life, born and raised, and it's super cool now to offer something creative back to our community. And yeah, so excited to dive into it.
Awesome. So Sadie, why don't you dive more into your background? You told us you're from Lebanon, but give us some background on, how did you end up in the this realm in this industry and what got you started?
So I think it started because I didn't know what I wanted to do. Essentially in high school, senior year approaches. I think I was probably 10th, 11th grade, really focused on sports. That was kind of my thing. And, you get the talk from family, what are you going to do?
Yeah, for sure.
I think myself and my family were all kind of in agreement that I was not the 4-year college, university,
the typical
sit at a desk
Yep.
type of gal. And that was I think hard for some people to accept, I think definitely previous years. So my mom was like, you're going to CTC, pick something. Okay, so I definitely grew up baking a lot with my grandmother and even my mom, just family in general. And my family on my dad's side has all grown up in the food industry, bar industry, kind of just hospitality in general. So that kind of triggered something in me as well. You'll see I have a picture of my great grandmother.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was gonna ask,
Yeah, so that's my
Master
grandmother,
Master baker.
my dad's grandmother.
Okay.
She was a baker at the hotel over near your office. Are you still on Popular Street? I don't know what the hotel is called.
I'm not anymore, but it was
Okay.
Treadway back in the
Yes,
day. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes.
So she was a baker.
When that was a hot spot.
Exactly. My dad's side also owned On Stage, which was catering, concerts,
Oh, I didn't know that.
things like that. Yeah.
That's cool.
And now, obviously, the Willow House.
Yeah,
So,
Shout out to the Will House.
But,
so I didn't
yeah.
know that the On Stage. When was that?
oh gosh, I wouldn't know probably 80s.
Okay.
I'm thinking because it was right before I was born.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they served.
So this
hundreds
was
of
your
people.
great grandma?
That's my great grandma. Yeah.
Okay, and then what? Your grandma?
My grandma and grandpa.
And had the
On Stage.
Nice,
Yeah.
okay, so
and
it's-
then my dad and all the family.
so it runs in the blood.
Exactly.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I guess that just kind of triggered something, and I'll have in school was always very creative. My favorite subject was definitely art and home ec
Nice.
besides sports. So I took advantage of the CTC program where I think 11th grade you could go spend a
Yep.
day there, and I checked out the photography class and the baking and pastry and was sold on the baking and pastry program. So
Nice.
did that my senior year. Long story short, I guess. I don't know how much to drag it out
No.
because it was a great experience. I
Yeah.
mean, couldn't say enough good things about the baking and pastry program. Chef Peffley, Chef Coral.
Are they still there?
They are, and
That's
they're coming up to an end though. So
Really? Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how many years left, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's gonna be.
How many were in your
Anxious to see.
class?
Oh gosh, let's see. Probably only 15
Okay, yeah.
pastry students, give or take. You always have a couple that seem to drop, but it's nice that way because the focus then on one-on-one
Yeah,
with
100%.
Chef Peffley is key. We're running a full service restaurant.
I was gonna say the restaurant over there.
Yeah, it's
That's
next
amazing.
level for
I love
high
that.
school students.
Because I went to Thaddeus Stevens, and Thaddeus Stevens was similar in the. I love that they utilized the students for service.
Yeah.
Like the body shop at Thaddeus Stevens, they worked on customer cars. We built clients' homes. You know what I mean?
It's a whole next level of experience.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For the real world.
Shout out to CTC. CTC is wonderful. I think the biggest struggle and hurdle for CTC is there's only limited spots, and it's the one for every Lebanon County school. And there's Elko, there's Cedar Crest, there's Palmyra, there's and that's a struggle because I saw that you noted that you want to push, trade and arts and all that other stuff, and that's what we've talked about and whatnot. And it's hard to have the resources because it's like there are a ton of kids out there that want to do it, and then you only have say 15 spots, and that's the hard part with it. And it's cool to see how it's changed because like my parents went to Votech. Well, that's what they called it back then, Votech. Dad was a mason, mom was a beautician, and the stigma was if you didn't go to college, you were the bad kid.
Yes,
you went to CTC because you didn't want to be in school, blah blah blah. And it's like that's not true at all.
Yes.
My parents had both great careers, and you're doing very well. You know what I mean? I did a trade school at Thaddeus. So no, that's fantastic. So there, you went to CTC.
Yeah, and kind of to bounce on what you just said about if you don't go to college, you're failing already.
I dropped off year 1.
Yep.
And I just told my mom, hey, it's just not for me. I think I'm gonna work on the family business.
And here you are.
One thing led to the other.
No, and you're successful, and I think that's huge. That like there is no traditional route.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like choose what you love, and then just stick to it and go after it.
So that's I feel like another topic that needs to be pushed onto students more, that there are so many different avenues,
like
and you're not wrong. So again, taking everyone's opinion and trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I did end up going to college for pastry arts. I went to Philly at the restaurant school, Walnut Hill College, and I was planning on going for either an associate's or a bachelor's degree in pastry arts and hospitality. I made it about a year and a half, and I was living on campus, doing the whole thing.
College experience.
Yeah, it was great, but not great for me.
It's grueling.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is tough.
It was.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was getting the actual education that I wanted to, and not throwing shade at all.
No, but what were your classes in your first year and a half?
Yeah, so the first year and a half, I had to do, the regular academic classes.
And all that
which
stuff.
Again, wasn't my thing, but okay, I get it.
And they cost money.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Exactly. I did have kitchen classes.
Okay, that's great.
And the downfall for me at that school was you were paired in certain classes with different age. What am I saying? Seniors, sophomores, juniors,
okay. So
and
like
freshmen.
their experience was all over the place.
I'm a freshman, and there's one teacher. There's like 40 kids in a kitchen, and they just pair you with like a sophomore, junior, and you're supposed to learn from them. People don't always care. So I'm like, okay, why am I paying
You're learning
this much
from somebody
money?
who's learning.
Yeah. It just didn't feel right for the money.
And
honestly.
also too, like you went from a very one-on-one experience to, and that is a big fault to college of like I know like I went to LVC, which I can't say too much of, like it was very small school, very private, all this other stuff. I could go to my professors directly and stuff like that. Whereas like shout out to my buddy Adam Kuhn, who went to Temple. His economics class was like 300 students. You know what I mean? And you just signed in, and that was how they tracked you, and that was basically how it rolled. You know what I mean?
And everyone has a different learning style. It works for some, but not all.
I agree with you 100%.
I can't do the college thing. I got to be hands-on. I got to touch what I got to learn. I can't.
For sure.
Yeah, I can't do visual or anything like that.
So you did the college for a year.
So I ended up transferring then.
Okay.
So I decided, okay, I'm not happy, looked into some other options, and moved back home, lived with my parents, and decided to enroll in the Lancaster County Career and Technology Center.
Okay.
They offer a diploma
like
program.
Adult programs and stuff like
yes.
that? Oh, that's awesome.
Or students or adult, whatever. But
you could go to it after high school.
Yes, correct.
That's awesome.
So that was like a certificate program, and I went Monday through Friday, probably like 7 to 12 for the first 9 months, in class, hands-on, as long as some academic classes, but they were all geared towards pastry arts, culinary math.
Structured more similar to CTC?
Yes, I loved it. Again, smaller classes. I had great instructors. Susan Notter, if you're a pastry person, you'll know who that is. She's like world renowned.
That's awesome.
The queen of pastry.
So you learned from the best.
Yeah, so it was super cool.
Which is wild to think like Lancaster, PA. You know what I mean? But again, we were talking about Cheyenne. Shout out Cheyenne for all of our editing of our video. Lancaster's very renowned in the world for when it comes to the arts.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you got Rock Lidditz, you know what I mean? You have the art, Lancaster Art, the school you went to, like you just said she's the queen of pastry. Like,
yeah,
is that,
she won a competition that was worldwide.
Well, yeah, that's insane. You know what I mean? So
Lancaster. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you ended up going there.
Yeah, so I finished out the program there, which was 9 months in school and then a 3-month externship, which I backtrack a little. As soon as I started school at Lancaster, I also got a part-time job at Hollywood Casino in the bake shop there.
Nice.
So I do school in the morning, work in the evening, and
for
sure, honestly,
the grind.
Yeah, that was key for my whole vision. I may sometimes think too far ahead, stresses me out, not good.
Welcome
sometimes.
To entrepreneurship.
But yeah, I was just exactly
on all levels.
I was determined. So I ended up just doing my externship at Hollywood since I was already there.
That's literally the idea, though, when you think of like externships of like, when I was in college, my one professor, I was in business and accounting. So like my professors were all business minded. They always told me, if you're going to do an internship, don't do it for the credits. Do it for the fact that like this could potentially be your actual job someday. This could set you up of like you're already in the door, because you hear all these things nowadays of like how a bachelor's really isn't much, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they want 10 years of experience and all this other stuff. It's like, dude, I was in college, so
it's tough to do both.
It is, and that's where like friends of mine who I've spoke to have done internships. Like a buddy of mine out of Philadelphia, he did an internship through the government down in Philly, and now he's a chemical engineer for the Navy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it was basically like handed to him, because he was the best candidate because he was already in doing it. You already knew the ins and outs and everything else like that. So that was a very smart move, and I feel like they don't give that information. You know what I mean? Of like, hey, here's an opportunity where like you can do an externship, and you were already like, oh, well, I'm already working here in this business. Can I just get this credit and
exactly
and get paid for it?
Right after,
that's fantastic. Yeah. That's the best part about it.
Right after I graduated, then I ended up getting a promotion at the casino.
That's
so
amazing.
it was just like the perfect stepping stones and was falling into place. So
it paid off.
Yeah, for sure.
So you went to CTC, ended up into a school in Philly, didn't work out, which looks like it was for the best. You came home and you found the school in Lancaster, which set you up then to go to work at Hollywood Casino.
Yeah.
Dive into like what that was like, and it sounds like that was then the next step in your career.
Yeah, that was a very unique experience. Just that type of environment. The casino is obviously open every day of the year.
Yep. It's like a hotel.
They don't close.
Yeah.
And the size of our Hollywood Casino is pretty large, especially, for this area.
Yep.
Getting a bakery job, I mean, you got grocery stores and you have a few like mom and pop shops.
Yep.
So 2 completely different experiences. I'm a very like go-getter, hands-on, I need to be moving, I cannot sit at a desk type of person.
Yeah.
So for me, the casino really worked well because
it was like home for you.
Yeah, there's just such a variety of what we had to produce. High production. I loved going in every day and having something different, on my agenda. And
which is way different than what you said of like mom and pop or grocery store, bakery, where it's kind of like, show up, get your stuff done, and let it sit there and sell it. You know what I mean? You're constantly producing all day.
Exactly.
For different events.
I was young, so I could handle it. It was hard work though. I mean, we made all of the breads, pastries, pretzels, pizza, just all the desserts for the buffet, Final Cut Steakhouse, the casual dining, the sports
the whole
bar,
facility.
Literally everything. Yeah. We were probably 70 to 80% from scratch. At least 80%, I would say. From scratch.
No, I know. I worked at the Hotel Hershey, and our chef,
very similar.
That guy literally, I worked all 3 shifts. I worked first, second, and third sporadically, and I swear I've seen this guy every time I worked. Because of the amount of events that they had and weddings and parties and corporate coming in and all that other stuff, and it was just a constant.
Banquets.
It was a constant. So like that industry where you landed or whatnot, people don't realize like it is very demanding.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Whether you're baking or cooking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The physical work from just getting it done, the hours, the planning, the prepping,
chef
the mental
would come in
part.
at like 2:00 in the morning.
Wow.
I'd see him come in on shift because I had to do my rounds through the kitchen. He'd come in, and then I would say like 2 hours later, then he'd have like a couple assistants or help. They'd come in and start prepping.
Yeah.
I would come back that night for my shift, and he'd be leaving at 1:00. So he would be there for almost, a full day.
It's rough, and I think it is becoming more common now today for mental health awareness for that industry because
Lex knows that industry is like even cooks, man. Like
when
we would have events, it was all hands on deck, and like I said, chef was there he was very prominent on like he was there for each event, especially if they were like major weddings or we had corporate coming in and all our stuff, and it's like, I don't know what his personal life looked like, but like I'd leave a shit. Well, they would say like he would sleep because his office was back in like the kitchen, which is wild to think because it was like, dang, this guy should have like a freaking corner off. No, he was in the kitchen in the back, and they would always, and I don't know if it's true, but they would say like he would sleep there. He'd take an hour or two nap or whatever in between events and whatnot, or his sous chef would step up and be there or whatnot. But it was like it's grueling, and I'm glad you pointed on the mental health awareness because me and Mike we advocate about it, and you know what I mean. I've always been super open about it, and an industry like the food and hospitality, man, like especially working in a hotel, seeing it, like
it's demanding. And what are you gonna not serve your guests over there? Well,
and it's 24/7, like
24/7.
You know what I mean? And again, also too on the business side of things, like the corporate's trying to stack as many events as possible during their season. You know what I mean? So it's like I know the guys, the bellhop guys during summer, man, they can make over $100,000 in 3 months from tips. You know what I mean? Because of how busy the hotel was.
Yes.
And then after that, you just, their concept was, oh, well, now we can relax. It's like, man, that's a burnout. That's a burnout situation.
It is, And no matter how much we get booked, we're still going to put out the product one way or another. So that's all. The people on the outside, all they see is the products getting put out. So, okay, they can handle it. Let's keep adding on. But, we're like struggling in the back.
You're either, you're understaffed or, you know what I mean? Or the product, they're like, well, let's double the product now. And it's like, we're already at full capacity. So you did that. You were at the casino.
Yes.
How long were you at the casino, and what did that look like on your growth?
Yes. So I think my first experience with the casino, I was there for maybe around 3 to 4 years.
Okay. Pretty solid.
Yeah, started as like, the part-time
which is probably like
gig.
20 years when you think about the hours you put in.
Yeah,
like
honestly.
Seriously, no, that's when you think about like that industry and the hours you put in, like 3 to 4 years is like a lifetime.
It does. Made my way up though, got the lead pastry cook job, and then from there I got the assistant pastry chef, and that was like my favorite position, but besides working for myself. When I was in the industry there, assistant pastry chef was a super cool role. I do feel as though I've always had like a little bit of a leadership, vibe going, and I really enjoyed the baby step into management, but not like the full force being in charge. And I still was completely hands-on as the assistant, still making everything in the kitchen and not having to spend a lot of time in the office. So I was like loving that.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah. But eventually, as we kind of talked about, the mental and physical strain kind of caught up to me eventually, and just realized I was slowing down and going home unhappy, not sleeping well,
which is huge.
Feeling sick.
We both.
That's called burnout.
Yeah, we both went through it. You know what I mean? Yeah. For our careers.
My parents were a little nervous. The conversation.
Shout out to the parents. They're always nervous. They're always questioning. It's all love.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But it's definitely a worrisome. You know what I mean? So that was like towards the end of that 4 years.
Yeah, so it was 4 years about, and I really had to make a change. This whole time, I'm also like slightly making cakes on the
No,
side.
I remember.
You know?
Yeah.
Never like
friends,
official.
family, and all that other
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah, for sure. It's how it all started.
Yeah.
It's the life cycle of building your own
is.
business, the side gig.
Yep. Still wasn't ready to like go full force with that.
Yep.
So, you know, just job searched and found a head pastry chef job at Elizabethtown College.
Oh, great.
So that was a, you know, 7 to 3:30 shift,
Yep.
every other weekend off, holidays off.
There you go. That's a
So
different-
yeah, completely night and day from the casino.
Wow.
So yeah, I dove into that and it was really enjoyable. A whole different scene for me. You know, we served the students. It was menu creating and, you know, still hands-on. I was still in the kitchen, but still managing. And the banquets were very nice. And it was just smooth.
A little slower pace.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for a while and then I got bored.
Yeah.
You know, well,
You know,
I wouldn't say,
adrenaline rush.
yeah, like
But
a little
see,
bit.
if corporate would understand that, if they would just give you like a break,
Something
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and understand, you know what I mean? Like, if I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Da Vinci. So he said that an average person could only really be productive for 4 hours. So what he would do is he would work for 4 hours, sleep for 4 hours, work for 4. Now again, that's unlikely in our society. But like,
Yeah.
if corporate could like understand it and say, hey, look, like for every quarter, you're gonna get 2 weeks off. You know what I mean? And we're gonna do it strategically, you know, so we can meet
Yeah.
our demand and whatnot. But could you imagine how much longer you would have stayed if they were like, hey, look, for 2
Yeah.
weeks, you're off, paid, and when you come back,
And productive.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Because you're just
yeah.
driving these people to work and
Yeah.
they're just getting burnt out.
so,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So,
But it was nice. Like I still enjoyed it. I wasn't really looking to leave.
No.
I was just
it's the mental burden.
yeah. I don't know. It was cool, but Hollywood called me. I got the call from Hollywood, and I said I would never go back. You
Yeah,
know.
Back you in.
Wait, so you
So I'm
did?
still at E-Town, and I was fine, you know.
Yeah.
But Hollywood called me and offered me if I want to come talk about the executive pastry chef job.
Wow.
And I'm like, never would have expected this a million years. I mean, I'm confident in myself, but I don't think I like really thought I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. But at that time, that was still such the like the idea of the path that
Yeah.
you should take. You know, you're always
the
trying to
pinnacle.
Yes.
yeah, like that's what I should always be working towards. 'cause
stepping
that's
up the ladder.
Of, yeah, my career. You want to be the executive pastry
Yep.
chef. So of course I had to consider it, and it sounded, you know, great, good money, got the title,
Yeah.
cool, right?
They're selling you everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but now I leave my weekends, my holidays off. You know, is it worth it? Whatever.
No, it's
I was finally like, you know, mentally stable.
Yeah. No, and that's key. And
And-
people don't
yeah.
understand like what, you know, a lot of people look at, you know, successful individuals on any level and look and say, hey, it must be nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't understand the sacrifice that goes into it of like, you know, and understanding like, you know, each person and what they want. Like you had been offered, I guess, quote unquote, your dream job. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The top of
at that
top
time.
of your, you know, industry, at least locally. You know what I mean?
sure,
When you think
yeah.
about it, and you know, you're sitting there like questioning of like, man, I'm gonna give up weekends. I'm gonna give up holidays. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give up this, and you know,
You sell your soul to Hollywood.
yeah. And that's the thing is like people don't understand that they don't understand both sides of it.
Correct.
They don't like. Damn you if you take the job and they say, oh, it must be nice. And damn you if you don't take the job. Oh, well, you're giving up all this
Yeah.
stuff. And it's definitely a level for entrepreneurship of like dealing with that and understanding like you come first.
Yes.
Like and as much as people want to say selfish, all our stuff, like you can't do anyone good if you're not in good
Yes.
health, good shape, all these other
Oh
things.
gosh, for sure.
So-
and I still wasn't in that mindset
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
So I took the job.
Okay.
Yeah, and
No, that's
yeah, it brought on a lot more management office time,
Yep.
which
is you
it's
openly
just not
admitted.
me,
Yeah.
It
Different.
never.
Very different.
So I struggled with that slightly. I think I would have done better if I had more staff, more time, where I could sit in the office and learn and do these things and focus on that side of the work when my office is looking into the kitchen and they're just death glaring.
It's like they're like, what are we gonna do? What are we doing?
Come out here and help me. Like looking at me like I'm just lollygagging, sitting around the office, not helping them.
Now we're on the other side of it, like management, you know what I mean, and employees
exactly.
and having people under you and them not seeing what's behind the doors.
You don't know what what I have to do, and I get it.
It's another battle. It's another battle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm young. I get it. I was even 20.
That's another thing.
3. I don't know.
Man,
25. I don't know.
Yeah,
at this point.
With an executive.
Yeah.
And having my staff is all either that age, younger, and a couple older.
Yep. Age is always a huge factor too, for management, and I don't understand why it's like us being business owners, we always look at like who's the famous saying that I always go by is there's an ass for every seat. And like when you run a business, like the ones that are successful is like putting the right ass in the right seat.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, things fall apart and stuff like that. And age doesn't matter.
No.
You know what I mean? Age is just a number. And again, that's a big factor of like, well, you were the best fit for this position. No matter the age, but yet others can't see that.
Yeah.
Where they feel like, well, she's only such and such age. Like, wow, that's
And I get it. I bet I may not have had as much experience as clearly other candidates that they could have brought in, but they felt confident enough in me.
And
so
the big thing too is you were already in the system.
Yes.
That's huge.
Exactly.
Like as a business owner, having someone that was already in the system, you already
I was familiar with their how
their
they
structure,
run,
the scheduling,
that made a difference.
The atmosphere, the culture, all that other stuff. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
So backtrack of like you went to college in Philly for how long?
A year and a half.
Yeah. Then you went to Lancaster for about a year, it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2.5 years, and then you got the position at Hollywood.
Yes.
You were there for about 4 years, so now we're about 6.5 years.
Yeah.
How long were you at E-Town then? Like a year, 2 years?
2 years, about 2 years.
So 8.5. So you're almost a decade in the business at the age that you were at.
Yeah.
And you're running, this you're the head pastry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how long were you there, and what did that look like now of like being in corporate? Because that to me, that's corporate America.
It was, yeah.
And running the shop
Full
now.
force.
You full circle. You've made it to the top.
Yep.
What did that look like?
It was more demanding than I thought.
Okay.
And
so do you think your previous head put on a good face value of like?
Yes, of course. That was another thing too. He was definitely a great mentor for me throughout my career. Don't have bad things to say about that. But you also have to watch. Everybody has their best interests for you, but also the best interests for themselves.
Number one, again, it is what the ultimate of humanity is.
Yeah.
Is like you have to look out for number one. So maybe he was probably the best because he had the best assistant.
Yeah.
'Cause that's another thing too. You said like you were out there with them.
Yes.
When you were sitting through the glass window looking out, like where was Sadie out there?
Yeah.
Rounding everybody up and saying, hey, we need to get doing this. So that could be that. That is a tough part about corporate America is like the manager always gets like the praise, like the head person, but it comes down to the team.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Of who you have underneath you, and if they're not there, now you're trying to do your job. Plus, then they're staring through the glass. Now I got to step out there and I got to step away from all my paperwork and everything.
What you and I are trying to build.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the hierarchy.
It's hard to manage. Just the balance of all that. Learning how to manage people is so much harder than, I didn't have that full experience.
Know how to
different personalities, different egos, different, you know what I mean, backgrounds.
Before, I'm the assistant, so I'm still with all the,
you
staff.
You have the relationship.
Yeah, so I'm
You're
the good
connected.
cop.
Yeah, yes, yep.
Manager, he's the bad cop, so now I'm the bad cop.
Yeah, so you swapped it, and you didn't, did you have like your good cop? Like, was that like?
It was a
struggle.
Relationships all changed, and it was not what it used to be. And I get it.
Yeah.
But
the woes of corporate America.
Yeah. So I just.
How long did you do that for?
I was there just about a year, and it was hard, to be creative and have that fire while you're having just so much stress. Management problems.
It's literally the complete opposite of each other.
Yeah. So again, being short-staffed constantly didn't help anything. The workload. it is hard. And if you're not properly staffed and have the support from your staff, the management,
can't produce the product or the service at a high rate.
For sure. So I questioned, my abilities a lot. I didn't feel like I was right for the job, maybe. And even if I was, is it worth it? It was not.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
They call it imposter syndrome is like what they call psychologically.
Gosh, such a thing, yeah.
And every entrepreneur, no matter how confident or cocky or whatever you want to call it, is like, it's a struggle. You know what I mean? Especially when you're going through the woes. You know what I mean? Of like the staffing. You know what I mean? And then you having like you have corporate on top of you. And that people forget that. Like you have people behind you chirping of like, you have to meet this. You have to do this. There's investors. There's shareholders. You know what I mean? We need to hit this much product and all other stuff.
I feel like I could never, accomplish any of my tasks to the level they should have been because there's just too many of them, not enough time.
Again, corporate where they fail of like, if they would have just say, hey, look, like you're doing a fantastic job, like, you know what I mean? What do we need to support you instead of like, hey,
it's not a pizza party.
No, you need to do more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you were there for about a year.
I was there for a year, and honestly, the drama in the kitchen, it just,
Yep. Every industry has the tea.
Yeah. It hit a wall, a fan, whatever, a chopping block, and I had enough. And again, I felt like I was just mentally not okay, physically, everything.
Which it affects, mental people are finally realizing that, like your brain controls your body. Like people forget that. So when it's not healthy, the rest of your body's not healthy. Like it could be the complete opposite. You could be unhealthy physically and have a healthy mental status and be okay. But as soon as you're, mentally not healthy, it doesn't matter how much you work out or eat healthy or do all these things to keep your body physically, your brain will literally just shut it off. So
and also not having time for a life became, an obvious concern of mine too.
Decompression.
Why am I, committing all my time to a place that's not even making me happy? I'm literally talking so negative every time I wake up and drive there. So
you're doing it for like a decade.
Yeah.
10 years.
I honestly
trying
got
to figure out the formula.
Yeah, I was like, I hate this. I started looking into like pharmacy jobs. Like I was ready to leave the whole industry. And I'm like, then I took a step back. This is not right. Yeah, like I don't want to go work in a pharmacy. I don't want to go, like what? No. But I quit. There was like some situations, and I didn't feel good about working there anymore, and I didn't have a job lined up. I didn't have an actual like on paper plan, but in my head I had a plan, and I left.
You were doing this.
I was still doing.
You were still. Yeah, I was gonna say.
So
you've been doing that.
The cakes on the side. With that position, I had no time to, so I had to stop that for like a year, but I quit, and I was like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make it work, and that's when I took my path.
I got fired, so I can't really say.
Yeah,
I got fired from Hershey Park because, like, you know what I mean?
Exactly what I did.
It was probably the worst moment in my life, but the best moment. Of, like, I didn't see the signs. Like, I applaud both of you. You both walked out on your own. Like, they had
you told me to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
Back at it, you were like, hey.
But it's from my experience of like, thanks, I had to be forced out, and it was like, wow, I have to have other people force me out because I felt like I can't walk away from this. You know what I mean? Like this is, I made good money. It was a good schedule. I was doing the stuff on the side still kind of, and I'm like, what are my parents going to think of?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
I stayed up all night and pretty much like cried, and also just slid through, jobs online.
Oh, 100%.
But
I didn't talk to anybody for like 24 hours, 30, 2 days basically of like, now for me, I did have the side stuff. So like that was like the first connotation of like, I'm going to go do this. And it sounds like, you know what I mean? Clearly it circled back to you.
I got something,
to follow
I have the fire, I got the determination, I'm just going to figure it out.
Yeah, you'll get
I have no idea
it.
how to run a business, really.
Yeah.
No one really does, to be honest, especially from ground zero. Like, you got to think like, now you have the generations behind you, but for your company, your first generation. You know what I mean? And people forget that part. We talk about this all the time. We have friends that are third, fourth generation from businesses, and it's like,
it's different.
It's 100% different. We're their great grandfather, their grandparents, or whoever who started it. You know what I mean? So that's just a common, thing you have to work through.
And I think that's what held me back for so long, not starting my own thing.
Was the business side of it.
Like how do you start a business? I can't do that.
You know what I mean? Taxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Time management. You know what I mean? It's different. You know, when you, like for me, I was an electrician. Like I'd go do a job, I'd build a job. You know what I mean? Beyond that, there was nothing else. Then you go out on your own 100%, and you're like, now I need a helper. Now I need to go to the accountant because you know what I mean. I got to show this money now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like guys were paying me cash on the side, and all these other things of like, you know, you're not the baker anymore. You know what I mean? You're the bookkeeper.
You wear all the hats.
You're the manager. You know. And then people wonder why you're talking to yourself because you're trying to have a meeting with everybody. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you got to have the conversation here of like, you know, we do. That's what we do. But people looking out like, what's Noah doing over there in the corner? It's like, hey man, having a conversation with my bookkeeper right now. We're having a little cash problem. So, so almost 10 years in the business.
Yeah.
And that's where it clicked for you.
Yeah, things turned around.
And now here we are. Fast forward. And you have, this is what we have, you know what I mean? So we got the background and everything else like that. Give them the current right now.
Sweet.
Sweet.
I know, right? I say that way too much. Probably,
that's what Michael, he a little knee slapper. The pun, yeah. So
you gotta.
Yeah, dive into what Sweet Sadies cakes and cupcakes do now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is about the 3rd year, full time. Sweet Sadies Custom Cakes. Thank you.
Congrats.
I got super lucky as far as finding the right spot to work from because obviously I don't have a storefront, which is just not my thing at this point. So I am a home-based custom cake and cupcake business. And now my focus is just providing high quality, love at first sight and bite product for all celebrations.
Drop the mic. Yeah. Say that one more time.
Love at first sight and bite. Okay.
I love it.
It's got to look good and it's got to taste good. That's key.
It's the literally
so it's
all about sweets. You know
and
what I mean?
Honestly, serving anyone, all people, all celebrations. I'm here for it. Yeah. I really have, this past year, have gotten deeper into weddings, which is something that I've always, never felt like I was
crazy
good
how
enough
much
to
the
do.
wedding industry has like blown up with, you know what I mean, venues and all this other thing. The average wedding, I think, is like 40,000 to 50,000 per wedding now in America.
You can go all over the place.
Yep.
So
that's awesome.
been exciting. Yeah, a whole new avenue for me. Definitely started as mainly birthday cakes and cupcakes, but
local. Now you're getting, because to me that's more commercial. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
So I want to keep it small enough where I can still create, have fun, enjoy what I'm doing, but grow, into these different avenues as far as, like I said, the larger wedding events and also the social media aspect. It's a whole thing, but I would love to figure out how to make videos where I can maybe make some side money from it. It's a thing.
To be honest with you, like we said, I've seen it. Like we have a guy, Zach Pasquelli, Please, if I don't get your name, you see him online. Like this guy has a big following on YouTube. He's that's very consistent. 3 years of consistency, and like he admits like it's a mic, it's a phone setup. Now I think he's upgraded a little bit, but we all struggle with it of like, putting ourselves in front of the camera. Like it's not our generation. Like I know we're still young, but it's the generation below us that they're recording everything. Like growing up, you. Not necessarily wealthy, but like to have a camcorder. Like, oh my God, and remember those things? Like,
who thought about wanting to be a YouTube star?
Yeah,
like that wasn't our.
It's crazy.
Thing. We were outside.
He watches 100%. And I watched the Manhattan thing. Selling Manhattan. It's Ryan Serhant.
Okay.
So he's huge on social media, and it's wild to hear that their agents in New York selling real estate, right? $1 million. They're selling to influencers, YouTubers, like, and I'm like thinking in my head of like, that's a legitimate job. Like the one agent was talking to a home seller, and she was saying something and about how like a YouTube influencer would buy this place.
Those are our clients.
And the lady's like, I don't think someone who's on YouTube is going to buy this house. And she's like, you'd be surprised. And that's the generation gap, and it comes down to like, unfortunately, when it's business, you have to do things that you don't like.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And but no, there's some resources if you want to get with Lex. Like we shout out to Cheyenne. You know what I mean?
Always been helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So helpful.
So and that's the big part about SBS is like collaboration over competition. We're trying to build a community here where we can each uplift us because what you're going through, some other business owner's going through. And what you're looking for, some other business has, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I hated being in front of the camera, man. I still hate it.
I
have to do it for the walkthroughs and all that stuff. I remember the first video I recorded, I never posted because I hated it. I was just looking back and I was like, oh, that's so painful.
Cringy.
Yeah.
But then the people love it. They don't care,
they eat it up. And also, too.
They wouldn't like that one. That one was wrong.
And either way, though, is like, hate it or love it. Like, you're going to get both sides of it.
Exactly. But they're watching, you know?
It was Gary V. Gary V to this day is like the reason I got on social media. Like, I'm, ADHD, so like I'll be up at 3 o'clock in the morning watching YouTube. And I used to be heavy on Gary V. And I'll never forget, like, he's in a YouTube video and he says, you got to suck it the fuck up. And get on social media. And I literally felt like he was like saying it directly. It was like upsetting me. I did.
At like 4 a.m.
Yeah, geez. I was upset. I was like this guy's like yelling at me right now. You know what I mean? And it just clicked. And I will say in the early days, like we have a live video that we did, way back that got almost 8,000 views on a live video. Yeah. And it's like,
one of the first ones that we
did.
And that was, at that time, wasn't like normal.
No.
I was
and
like, hey, let's go live.
we just would jump on in front of the camera and it's like getting back to that. You know what I mean? And not worrying what people are going to think because you're going to get
everyone's going to always have their opinion.
Like you said, damn if you do, damn if you don't. So
for sure. Yeah.
The social media is a struggle for. You're
not
the only one.
I feel like you don't have to be perfect doing it. Like I feel like I always need to have like this total plan and
it needs to be professional and
you'll always nitpick at it.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's entertainment. You know what I mean? They're looking at it for either knowledge because they want to learn from it, or they just want to entertain themselves for an X amount of period of time.
Seeing those screw ups on camera is like, oh okay, they're giving it a buck. Like it's not a facade.
Yeah, they're connected with you.
You're real.
Yeah. So. You gave us the past, you gave us the current. What's the future, of the business looks like?
Yeah, I have really. Well, yeah.
Mike, I saw a little bit of a drip there. You know what I mean? The drooling over here. We'll get to that, Mike.
Yeah, dive in.
Dude, I'm good. We're here for the interview.
I like to keep my options open now. I used to be such a planner and try and plan my future to the T and realize like why. I think a slight plan is good, have some goals, but don't put yourself in a box so far ahead.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely open to plans ahead. For right now, my focus is going to be expanding my location for weddings. I really want to serve outside of Lebanon. Right now I'm definitely Lebanon, Hershey, getting more into Lancaster, Harrisburg areas. The style of weddings I'm finding are more resonate with me more creativity wise.
Yeah.
Just the style of the designs rather than the child birthday cakes are still great. I'm still gonna do them.
No, you're
Absolutely.
looking for a niche. Like you're looking for
exactly.
You are looking to find your avatar of a client.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like best businesses do that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of businesses out there that don't service everybody, and
correct.
You're gonna get shit for it at the end of the day. But you're trying to find that path of that best fits what you want to do.
Yeah.
And the product and service you're giving.
Yes.
And I look at it on our end for rentals. We have a lot of people bitch about our pricing for our rentals. We do, you know what I mean?
Everyone's bitching
they complain about pricing, and we look, and I'll say it I don't arrogant if it sounds of we set the standard of I remember the first time we had a 1-bedroom for $1,100. Now you see it everywhere because I was giving a great product with a great service. Because at the end of the day, people forget being a landlord is a service. You know what I mean? We are servicing people their homes.
Yeah.
We had so much backlash, and it was out of thousands of comments and all this other stuff, we got one tenant and they've been there for almost the whole entire time now, 2 years straight.
Yeah.
And they love it.
They're happy.
And I look at that and it's a couple, no kids, both make really great money. I think they clear over $100,000 combined. Just good people. They're under 30. Yeah. They might be crossing over 30 now, and it's like, there's my avatar. That's my client.
Yeah.
So everybody getting upset. It's like,
everyone
does
is
that really
not for
affect
everyone.
you? You know what I mean?
Okay.
They weren't your client to begin with. That's who you were looking for.
Yeah.
What it was.
Yeah.
So you diving into that's going to be fantastic because
Yes.
I do believe like your style is like, you know what I mean? What you do is up here. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And finding those weddings and exactly. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people just like in any industry that pop up or do this or do that, and it's like which is great. We love. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the more choice you have, the better it makes everybody.
Yeah.
It helps push you more. You know what I mean? We talked about a business earlier of like, competition and whatnot, but competition is what created capitalism. And that's how what pushes you towards like, well, that's fine. They can do that. I want to do this. And weddings is so.
And honestly, you moving forward is going to open up more opportunities for people trying to do the same thing as you, but they're just starting out. Go ahead, take the lower, end orders.
Yeah.
So everyone wins.
No, it's entrepreneurship and it's capitalism at its finest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're finding your way, you're growing.
Exactly.
There's always going to be someone that's like, well, I'll take that order, and it's like, great, I was you 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And if you stay in the same place as an entrepreneur, like, you know what I mean? It's saying it. You're going insane. The whole idea is change and growth, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but you're definitely headed in the right direction, and we love what you're doing, and
Thank you.
I hope that you can still do some stuff for us.
Oh
locally,
yeah,
right?
for sure. This makes me happy.
Exclusively, but hey.
I love the flash sales too because it gives me the chance to just, I don't know, put together whatever I have on hand, whatever I want.
I bet people love that.
They do.
Because it's exclusive. The other thing too is exclusiveness. Like you gotta think like I'm about to get Sadie's cupcakes, man. They're only available randomly.
Exactly.
No, she gets the pre-order text.
Can't say that.
Yeah.
The VIP. How do you get on the VIP list, right? Well, that's another thing. Look, there you go. Now eventually you'll have a list of people that sign up. So no, we appreciate the backstory, where you came from, where you're at currently, and where you're going to be headed. So we're going to wrap this up.
For sure.
Thank you for being on SBS.
Yeah, thank you
the
guys.
whole idea behind SBS is collaboration over competition. It's building a community of local businesses to uplift each other. So we are going to close this out. Again, it's Noah from Ask4Noah. It's Michael from Michael Order Team, Remax Cornerstone, and Sadie. Thank you. We appreciate it. There's always a giveaway, which we love to do because we want to connect. The whole idea of this is, getting out into the community, putting your business out there. So why don't you let them know what you're giving away here?
Yeah, so you're going to just get some merch, give you a t-shirt, I have some different sizes so we can, chat about that. But I'm going to do 2 gift cards, 2 $25 gift cards that you can either use yourself, use them together, 2 separate orders, the same order, or you can be generous, spread the love, spread the sweetness.
We love it.
And,
spread the sweetness.
Give it to somebody, make someone's day. So it's up to you, but I wanted to throw 2 separate gift cards in there for you. So.
Awesome. And to be able to enter, you have to like both business pages. You have to share the post and tag 2 people. For the longest time, I've been saying 3, but it is.
Yeah.
It is 2. If you add 3, fantastic. But
10 people.
Again, like both business pages, share this post, and tag 2 friends to enter in to win the merch and the gift cards. Again, Sadie, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Love it.
Awesome.
We're out.
Let's eat.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna taste this one. Here we go. What is this one again?
Chocolate chip vanilla cake, caramel filling, espresso buttercream.
How do you come up with this stuff? That's the other part of it. Like, it's so creative and it's not.
You wanna go halvesies? Yeah, I know halvesies.
Can we go halvesies?
Wait.
That's a good
I got
idea.
one already. I'll go halvesies with you. Oh, he's
You
taking.
each get
Wow.
half.
I don't want this whole thing. Even though I say that until I start eating it.
Alright, you can-
Listen,
gonna-
buddy,
look.
this is for
Here we go.
support a local
Oh my
business,
god,
so we're
Sal's
eating
cake,
today.
they literally just took a freaking
Fork to it, yeah.
Did you see that? Yeah.
I said
Dude, we were also like 2 hours in of drinking. So like at that point it was like we sang happy birthday and then next thing you know it's like I fed Sal.
Yeah.
And
I think
that-
we had like a scooper.
Yep.
thing. We just
freaking
scooped the
amazing.
cake.
Whatever.
Oh my god.
Listen, we devoured the cake.
That's all I
I'm
need to
saying.
know,
That's
no
amazing.
matter how.
And it's not too sweet.
No.
Oh,
And
my
that's where it's
God.
like it's
I
like
don't like icing usually, but
it's dead on.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Here, split one with me. He's gonna eat the whole thing. Here,
Anyway,
split this one with me. Wow.
My favorite part, mukbang.
I'm just gonna eat it.
What the heck is that?
A mukbang?
The heck is
This is a Sweet Sadie mukbang. You eat ASMR.
Yo.
Oh my God.
What?
Mike's.
Everything else, sorry.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, wait, give me that microphone.
Oh.
Yeah. You need to be mic'd up
Oh
over here.
man.
This is Alexis, the beer goes here girl.
This is look at her throwing her in there.
This is the beer goes here girl, and I'm eating
Whoa, what is that?
Sweet Sadie cupcakes. What do you guys
Ooh, is
think?
that caramel?
Yeah, bro. Dude, it is
Let me get
all
that
over
bite.
your face, bro. Get right there. I left one for you.
I want yours. I'm kidding. I'll get you. Yeah.
He always wants what I have, and it's like, Mike, there's one
It's
for
like
you,
be
bud.
your own person, Mike. For real.
No, it's like brothers.
To share, all right?
It's like brothers.
He's a good option.
Yeah.
You want what you don't have. That's life, I think.
Wow.
They were like, we're not going to eat cupcakes.
I know. I don't know why I even said that.
Like, how could you not?
I love when people tell me, we're not cake people, but we loved it. And
No.
yeah,
That was
we were
Sal.
good.
Sal said he wasn't a cake
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
After
And
I ordered the cake, and I'm like,
yeah, but
This
he
is a Sadie cake, though.
he dove in that bad boy.
no, he did.